does have a couple of items up, Massive Madness and Maelstrom. Feels like that item timing. So you should expect him to group up with his team, play with that team fight, and go for that push with a Beastmaster as well.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's second bear that they've killed. Bull, sorry. So, a little bit of gold, but mainly the experience. That is a lot of experience that's now given over.
Yeah, it's going to lead to faster levels there for Hyde. The threat of double stun will start to come into play once the LLC is ready on Savage as well. So you have to be a bit cautious. The added regen you can ferry out here for Hyde also feels pretty good. They are, of course, again, laning up against Raging Potato and Afu on Phoenix. So you don't really have the best ways to maybe line up the Fire Spirits unless the side of Talon clump up too hard. It is still dual ranged up against Phoenix. So going for that early aggression on Phoenix, probably not as easy to do as you'd want it to be in this lane. But you still have angles, and you can go for the board build here for Raging, as he has already started with. But it does still feel like Savage enjoys this. He has great wave clear. You have great wave clear on Hyde as well to clear out those boards as we've seen. So if you're not careful, this could be an economy bleed for SMG if they don't manage that micro well.
I was a bit surprised that he's gone into the boards with how easily they should be able to kill them off with the scatter and the dragon slave. But for me, I feel like this is a game where mid one is going to be able to shine in. You really have a big answer to the void spirit, which I was saying in the draft when we were speaking. Like, I think there's another game where Makoto just might be able to carry, but this last pick lone druid should prove to be a big issue for him, and they don't have like any crazy way to deal with the ball, to deal with the bear. Do you feel like mid one should be able to take over and force this to a game 3?
Yeah, I think if he does get his timings, it's pretty scary. He's going to hit earlier beats than Lina. He's going to be able to just run around, use that bear, and just get all the space he needs from his teammates as well. They have better team fight now on SMG's end. I think the one worry is if he doesn't get off to that strong start, the Lina, if it does land a faster, say, BKB travels timing, it's going to be much more pressing. And then you have to deal with a threat coming through from KP's Brewmaster, as we've seen before. Cycloning up the bear, I mean, yeah, you can cyclone any core, but taking away all that net worth on a hero that you're going to invest 4,000 plus gold to get a lead on doesn't feel great. I think you still have some answers on Talon. You can always burst down with a Laguna if you want to take care of the bear first. It's still some good gold. And you do have to be concerned not just about that. Like, mid one is having a decent time in lane, but you have to watch for Moon. It's falling behind once more on that Winter Wyvern. Mikado now off to a very smooth start, 15-4. Game 1, we saw that be really even here, Aries, but it's one of those things with a mid-Winter Wyvern. Can go off a bit slower. Take some time to really build up here.
That is definitely the big concern about this. I mean, at least Moon is really comfortable on the hero. I'd love to see him pick up Dota Plus, so I know what level he actually is kind of on the Wyvern, but we'll stick at the level 5 for the moment. But we see him just thrive on this hero often. Like, he looks exceptionally good when he's playing the Wyvern, but just the concern is how can you get out of the early game, because it does take a little bit to come online. They do have multiple other heroes that can kind of make the space, as Respawn's in a bit of trouble bottom lane. Hyde, 23savage will find our first blood as Talon hit the board.
Yeah, they don't even need something like the LSA here on Savage going full on harassment with a Fiery Soul value point and already getting a bit of shove on that bot here. When again, a slower lane for Raging. He still opts to level up the boars. They just get cleared out. You can't do much with a Phoenix support in this lane. Back to, again, our conversation while the draft was happening, Aries. It just doesn't feel like you do much with Phoenix on support right now, especially with a Beastmaster. Against dual range, you just can't get that spacing you want. Top lane, they're still being aggressive, kind of farming behind a tier 1 tower, but already, again, poking and prodding at Pylai die. You have to respect that control that Q does have with a Hoodwink. The Bushwhack can just cut you off. Dual melee up against the Hoodwink does feel pretty good for Q to just run around, and I can't even threaten with Battery Assault. So trying to run down the Bear Entangle into Battery Assault cogs, a lot tougher. Just focus in on that farm for mid one. Just hope to hit those fast timings here.
I'm going to do a good job at least being able to secure one of the water runes for Mikoto, so Q rotating over. Gives him a tango as well, so making sure they keep the love flowing through across this map. I don't want to bully the beast too much. Yeah, I continue on top lane. Pilot is going to be okay. A little bit of harassment. They are trying to play around with this hard camp, dragging it over. Been very impressed with KP, just his the awareness of playing this lane. It's a bit difficult to lane into the lone druid, especially with the Brewmaster. He's a decent laner, especially when you have someone to proc the Cinder Brew, but very scary to play against a Druid. So kind of nice how they've just avoided the mid one hero early.
Just ensuring that he's just focusing on farm, taking away that aggression, getting a bit of Clockwerk that you can have. Pie's just constantly looking for some angles with battery assault. Can't really do much, and they might be able to turn onto him if he's not careful.
Yeah, they should be able to get Pie like die, although nice cogs. But a push back KP was looking for the 2 points in the clap. I've seen a lot more emphasis in the Cinder Brew. How do you reckon the skill build from KB? Do you feel like he's going to continue to max out the clap? Bottom lane, actually, Rage Potato is in a bit of trouble at the moment. Dragon Slave still on cooldown, so they're going to be requiring the spells to get that last little bit of damage. Thanks to the Fire Spirits helping the right clicks, but Rage Potato is really struggling down bottom.
Yeah, he's not going to see that quick timing into the Overlord. Still has a decent timing lined up for the Dominator. We'll see if that's going to be enough to allow him to maybe take control of the lane a bit more, to start to threaten some towers. Still a bit of a much more defensive start from both sides, a little bit of poking and prodding, but no full commitments. Both sides are just looking to secure their time, especially for the safe laners. It feels like it's all about Savage getting farm and mid one getting farm. Does get a couple of good entangles onto Q, but mid one's pretty forward here.
He's dead. Mikoto's going to TP up. Beautiful timing of the Savage wall, but he'll still end up ticking. An incredible rotation. Mikoto went all the way back to base to refill the resources. Bottom lane, Savage does step a bit too far forward. Moon trying to TP down, but a perfect timing of the light strike rate means that Savage, he can fly back to the T1 tower, so Moon's rotation is completely for naught.
And that's a great symmetry there. Both sides kind of trying to play onto the side lanes, punish these farming cores, and they aren't able to get that jump they want on SMG. It's just, it feels a lot tougher, especially if you don't have a good way for your, say, Clockwerk to even come in and threaten with battery assault. You don't really have long-range stuns. You don't have Roar and Raging, you can't set up onto the Lina all too easy. You have good slows, but you have nothing to tie into that. So,
Savage just picked up the level 6 as well. Look at the instinct to cut away the life, and Rage Potato, he's struggling to have a game. The fact that he's almost same net worth as the Winter Wyvern just goes to show kind of how rough these lanes are at the moment for SMG.
It's, again, something that they worked for themselves in this draft, picking up that Winter Wyvern early on, and just not expecting something like the Lina. It felt like they had a really good draft, especially with that last pick, but they managed to find something.
Trying to solo kill Moon. Needed the Aether Remnant to get that kill. Moon's going to turn it back around. He's got the creeps, but not enough mana for the Splinter Blast, so Dakota will be okay. Go on, Moon now. Q's considering about stepping in. They don't land the pushback, unfortunately. Arthur's going to fly in. One is still coming through from the Sun Ray. Moon should be okay. Another ultimate charge is back up from Mikoto. He's actually going to re-initiate, and Mikoto again off to an incredible start. It's going to be cautious he doesn't enter the river, but meanwhile, duo support on Talon, they don't care about protecting the Void Spirit. They go back in to get Arthur, so Talon doing a really good job at recognizing their limits.
They have a really good ward to enable that aggression. They plant the cliff ward. There's a ward spotting that movement out, but he didn't manage to back off fast enough there for Moon. The one good news for SMG is the attention isn't on mid one, right? So your lone druid is farming. It's in the top 3 of net worth. And that condition is still being built up. The Mask of Madness for the bear is going to be up sooner rather than later. But you are sacrificing everything else. And it just feels like the bigger sacrifice is Moon. If this Winter Wyvern doesn't find something like that Witchblade, say, by the 12-minute mark, just feels really slow. You don't have that much presence. You're going to be playing around the Winter's Curse, which is nice, but you have to expect talent to kind of clump up, and we'll see if they'll give that opportunity. A bit of a smoke out here onto bot.
2 nice dives. Should be okay. Rage Potato, though, he's not the one that's going to get out. Looking like it might be another death for Rage Potato. Arthur's doing a good job to keep him somewhat healthy, but with 3 heroes in the area, they just get another kill, man. Beastmaster. You hate to see the start that Rage Potato's on.
Yeah, it's not a good start. He does have his Dominator finished, I believe. Had a rescue coming in on his courier. So maybe he could start playing at least in the jungle, maybe just take over a lane and try to shove out with his team with the timing of the Mask of Madness on mid one's bear. And just look to pressure objectives. That could be one way to play now on SMG's end. But this start is just phenomenal from Talon. He travels already up in Savage. We talked about that timing. He's not even going for a BKB, just going straight for the 4-staff, just to have some mobility on hand. And he's ready to go. He's ready to show across the map. They're already showing mid.
KP first foot of the game. They got the Mortimer Kisses, and all they require is 2 ultimates. And meanwhile, Hyde combined with Q, they get another kill. And this is just Talon with the ball rolling it. And look at KP with the micro, dude. Not again.
Oh, no.
Raging Potato. Look who it is. I didn't know he's cosplaying as Pylai. Died up to 4 deaths is Raging Potato. You hate to see it. Hyde might be brought down for the Helm Dome, but even they can't kill this Snapfire.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Pie? He's going in. He's going in. Oh, he's gone. What? He's going to go for Savage instead. Pie. Cookies on cooldown. It's a decent amount of damage coming up from the Sun Ray. That's a big double kill if they can find it, but Makoto to the rescue. Jumps in the river to hold them back. Moon, he can still line up the ultimate. So they get the kill onto 23savage, but it comes at a cost as Arfu along with Pylai Dai go down.
Yeah, it's still a win for Talon that you find some scraps here on the side of SMG. That's some much needed EXP and gold coming out to Moon. Great curse to lock in Savage. And it does pay off. They hold off on the aggression. Talon doesn't get much headway onto that mid-tier 1. But they are allowed to reset. They know there's no curse. Egg will be up on her for next once he hits 6. Just needs a little bit with EXP in the lane, then you can kind of take the team fights. But Talon just immediately smoke up. They don't have Kiss, but they can just go for it.
Oh no, he's dead again. He's not out of this one. He's too far forward.
Oh boy.
Oh no, I think they saw him. Yeah, they see him. Brady Potato is going to try and do whatever he can with the roar. Again, this Cigarette proving to be an issue, but back to the grave you go. They are starting to smoke down bottom on SMG. Highlight Day and Moon combined together Makoto. He did use all his ultimate charges, so they're going to catch Makoto out in a vulnerable position. Playing around with the dissimulate, actually goes to the north in the hook shot. It's going to hit the Hawk. Makoto still won't make it out. Now, meanwhile, it's going to be a free fight for Savage. They can get the first kill. They're going to turn to deal with a supernova, and they will easily bring that down. And they're not done just yet. Mortimer Kisses for the slow. KP soon to step in as well. As Talon from one hero to the next they go. Mid one feeling the importance of showing up, but all it can do is watch his position to give another kill over to Talon. Hang on, mid one. KP's gonna get the split off. It's a pretty difficult kill to get now with the bonus health that mid one's playing with. Maybe Pylai might be easier. Savage gonna start to TP in. KP cycling up the bear instead. They're gonna start to surround mid one summon. They do have 5 heroes to play with. Savage protected with the high ground, and yeah, he's gonna lose his bet. Mid one. Oh no, 300 gold, easy like that.
Yeah, you do have to resummon in mid one at the least, so Bear is at the ready once more. That gold he's invested onto Bear isn't completely lost. And SMG now could go for the smoke layer. They don't have Egg, they don't have Curse, but they could try to get the jump in with Pilot. I tried to get some pickoffs while trying not to get clumped here.
They do have Raw. Cogs needs to push him closer to Raging Potato, but no boost Beastmaster. Makoto's gonna be okay. Oh no! Look at him, he's not even gonna leave. He's gonna go back in and get the creep soon. No, that's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah, I think on the bright side for SMG, they are finding objectives, right? They found mid, or finding bot here with mid one using Bear. So they are using that lone Dream push potential along with the creeps you can get out from the Beastmaster fairly well here on SMG's end. And they can start to take over that bot part of the map. Just get the farm build up they want in the LD. Try to close that gap that Savage currently has in the lead. They are losing their top, and there's no real defense set up here from the side of SMG. They are just keeping track of Mikado. He's under vision from the creep, but can't really line anything up. No hook shot yet from Pi. And now SMG can just kind of play the farm, hold onto that bot area. They've got really good control with the mid and bot tier 1s taken. Talon doing the same thing though. Playing up top, there is still that mid tier 1 to worry about, but not much to still stop them from just getting that build up from this area of the map. So let's see, I think SMG has to look for a fight soon, Ares. They've got Egg, they've got Curse, they've got Roar, Hookshot. Should find those pickoffs here.
Yeah, they're gonna go for it. All right. Highlight down to the T2 tower. The TP is probably a bit too late. He can pop the soaring for the spin in a couple seconds, but a beautiful timing on the curse. Gets hide as well. Makoto should be able to trade the life of Pylai Die. Even more of a kiss is going to be expended because Q, he's soon to step in to offer the control. It's a little bit too late to get the synergy with the Snapfire ultimate. Be cautious though. You can't go too far. Afu in a perfect position on the cliff, but this is just space. 23savage running a free tier 1 tower mid, and now can think about joining the boys if a fight breaks out.
Still a good position for SMG on the high ground now. Town a bit awkward and low.
They're gonna jump on this. Makoto instantly pouncing. Was gonna hold the back. Afu, can he get the ultimate off? Oh, beautiful dive to the high ground. This is gonna try and turn it, bring it down, and he misses. Not the case. Egg's gonna pop. Now SMG, can you rally around mid one on the bear? Schwack's gonna buy some time. It can get the distance away now, so 23savage can kite mid one. And KP, he's gonna enter the fight mid one. He doesn't have the ultimate. No capability to get the bonus health. 3 heroes dropping on SMG, and they don't even bring anyone down on Talon.
They're so close to finding Savage there. Just a little bit out of range for Pi. Like that quick move out from Savage to sidestep does get to also have the force staff of course on hand to push back. And SMG just miss out on that opportunity. They didn't manage to stagger their spell use areas. They didn't have a great curse on top of Egg. They didn't manage to get the roar they were looking for. And Talon, even from the low ground, working up against the vision of SMG, still managed to get it to work. They find some big kills. They're getting huge on Savage now, who is going straight for a Lincoln's. And once you have that protection on that Lina, I mean, you could probably get the roar or the curse off, but not both. You're going to have to be very smart with your target decision making here on SMG's end.
Dire's top tower.
One of the most farm Linas. Honestly, I'd be really intrigued to see if this is what position is in regards to farm, because he's filthy rich on Savage, and not just him, but KP's got a pretty good timing on the Scepter. Like, he's already completed that. Q's got Vessel. Everyone's finding farm. Not just one person. Meanwhile, they're solo killing heroes. Makoto just gets rid of the bird, so this should be a free Roche. Maybe Curse and Hookshot can say otherwise.
Here. They've got the angle for sure.
I like that. Okay, that's a beautiful hook shot. They can both get out. Cookie, Sharpshooter, who cares about the codes? And now KP, look at help him. Makoto, down goes Pylai. Died. Look at the micro. Oh, KP, you animal finds mid on the high ground. Curse only gonna buy him moments of seconds. They'll find him afterwards. Savage wrapping all the way to the left, cuts him down with that Laguna Blade, and back into the pit they go.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, they are getting some space out for mid one. He is split pushing bot, threatening the tier 3s once more. Hyde is around to kind of just clear out the creep wave. They are still getting the creeps around to scout, but can't really go for the stop. Egg is ready. And you don't have quite the easiest angle to get a good egg. It's still a good area for it. You just find the position. Still KP lets off another split for that Ags that you mentioned and just scouts around.
Just picked up on Savage. They don't have the greatest resources though from Talon if the team fight does break out. That's a beautiful hook shot, man. They can't get on top of the egg, so one pop for the first time this game. Can maybe SMG find some kills off the back of this? They deal with the Aegis. They're going to try and chase down Q, but they don't have the way to close the distance. So instead, they're going to turn towards KP. They're forced up to reposition the higher up, but mid one's in with their bear, just chunking away the life for the Brew. A big kill for SMG to find. They get rid of the Aegis advantage and the position 3 on Talon.
That's a lot better for SMG than I think you'd expect. Great egg out from Afu, and great plays from the sports here to just kind of negate that advantage Talon had. As you mentioned, coming out of the pit, they didn't have any resources to play with, and they get punished for it. SMG now can look for that turn, look for an objective to play for. The bear is really farmed up from mid one, already working onto that MKB, so it doesn't take too long for them to melt through these objectives if they're given the space. Talon has to respect that. They still have good bursts to play with. It does feel like your Lina might want a little bit more than the 2 defensive items Savage currently has, but a Force Staff and Lincoln's does have at least the Crystallis coming out, so a little bit more output there from Lina, but you have to watch yourself, especially with Chris back up. SMG still has a lot of turn play to show out here even without that egg.
It's a call from SMG. Probably with this MKB, look for a fight. Still going to be a bit difficult with the position they're in, but they do have the capability to have very good vision this game. Thanks to the Hawks, thanks to the Rocket Flare. Maybe you can get the information that Talon aren't grouped up as a team, take a fight where you have a numbers advantage, and then go from there.
Probably the best situation for SMG if they manage to get that. You snipe away DD out from KP. Again, they're just keeping bot constantly shoved in. Mikado's in charge of kind of clearing that out this time. Mid one is really farmed up. I believe the MKB is already flying out now onto the bear, so gonna have even more output come through from the LD. I think for Talon, again, you just need some more damage on Savage. You are still fairly reliant on Laguna to burst things down, but they will go for smoke later.
Nice position from Pi. Pops a smoke. Just gonna scout this out with the Rocket Flare. Pilot I should go down. Cut off from nearby to over the sun rate, but that's not gonna be enough. Do they want to group up? They've got a ward on the higher ground. Moon's gonna TP in as well. MKB just deleted. Gonna make sure they don't group up. KP's a big kill, but they don't stop the primal split, so KP now can break the formation, charging them down. Cycling up the one. Savage thinking about stepping in as well, but Savage, hang on. He's got no one to protect him until Makoto jumps in, forcing Arthur to dive into the river. They've already lost Rage Potato though, and meanwhile, Pilot having a buyback. He's holding him by the outwards, but in the river, they're on to Moon. The Winter Wyvern's in trouble. Back towards the jungle we go with Savage. Hook shot away, but he's going to be fine thanks to the Force Staff. Savage able to reset to the left. They have killed off the Wyvern, forced to use the Supernova from Arthur as well. Very messy fight though. A buyback from Pilot die, you lose the Beast and the Wyvern, but yeah, just a bit awkward with how they were trying to take that team fight.
Under attack.
I mean, you find KP, he already does his job in the middle of it though. You are slowing down his progression onto that Aeon disc, and you almost got Savage, and the quick force stabs on Talon are really saving the day. Force staff and hide, kind of bail out as well with Savage's own force staff, kind of work through the fact that he has no BKB, which he is farming up for next. Gonna stop the crystals for now. Go for another defensive item on Lina. Just stand and fight over the bear. The bear's output is ridiculously high though. If mid one has the room to just lay that bear down, use the Mask of Madness with that Monkey King bar, it rips Savage to spread. So Talon has to watch here. Spacing very scattered out. Fight does favor them in the end. But again, SMG still has a lot of bite left in them. They've got the Overlord up on Raging Potato. It's got the Ancient Creep around to buff their HP. But Talon knows some of those big ults are down. They could try to jump in with his fresh ag on Mikado.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's a bit difficult though for Talon to, like, you ideally would like to smoke into an objective, maybe top lane shoved out, smoke as a team, get some wards down, convert this into a tier 2 tower. It's still yet to find, well, it is actually SMG with the first tier 2 of the game, but they kind of need somewhere to smoke to, and they don't really have that option at the moment.
It's just tough. Like, there's so much vision coming through from SMG, the flares, the hawks, as you mentioned earlier on there, Ares. You're just able to scout around, and now you hit this pivotal timing for SMG. Ags up on Moon. So you've got that full damage coming through from Arch Burn, toggleable. It's going to be a lot harder to pierce through that backline. Mikado's definitely has to work hard to kind of take care of that Winter Wyvern and take away the threat.
There's big kills that can bring KP down, but again, looking to reposition him up. They get the fear at the last second. The damage, it needs to come through fast to prevent the split. KP to the left, but he just gets it off. KP with the ultimate. Now they can charge back the side of SMG. Highlight Die's going to be first to killed off. Can try to target down mid one next. Bear's pushing it back for the moment. KP's doing an incredible job to continue to kite this. Double back though to SMG, but they won't have that capability. In they go, blowing up the Phoenix. Moon's gonna find an angle. That's an incredible ultimate. Taunting multiple heroes and taking Snapfire out of the equation, but they might not have the bear to play with mid one. Looking for the resummon. KP, he doesn't have splits. Oh, they get the first hit route as well. Drag back with the tornado. KP is going to go down for the second skirmish in a row. So SMG, this time they found some items and they look to use it perfectly. They will even out that trade.
Much bigger kills for them, finding a core and support for 2 supports and very worthwhile. And Moon just showing us again with the Yags how how much more the Winter Wyvern can do. You can just camp a cliff spot. You don't have the best ways of searching around here. On Talon, they don't have the same vision game that SMG has. They're heroes, so they're easily able to use that mobility on the Winter Wyvern to just turn these things around. You do have the fresh BKB up in Savage, though. Willing to go back in if he does find the angle. Still playing around bot, and it's that same issue for Talon that you were saying here, Aries. They can't really go for objectives. All these fights are happening in their bot jungle. So even if they theoretically win fight, you can't go for map control. They can't go push in a tier 2 and try to take over the opposite side of the river. They're just forced to stay on their own side of the river, and SMG just feels very comfy invading every single time.
He's not gonna go for this moon, is he? Just force back Savage. See how much damage this one Arctic Burn truly can do versus the Lina.
Radiant are scanning.
We got the boys starting to connect top as well. So finally Talon. I mean, the past couple of minutes we've seen pretty much everyone playing down at this bottom jungle, but finally Talon have been able to get into SMG's territory.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Twice the measure of power.
Just not able to really catch him again, just too slippery with the Ags up. And SMG still playing almost the same way as game 1, just having mid 1 shove in bot, keeping that one lane constantly under pressure, and now TPing in Lina as well, looking for that full push. Doesn't take too long for the bear, it does manage to focus in.
You can see the TP in Sapphire as well. Oh, that's gonna look to stop the raw used as well, so they'll get the skill onto the Snapfire. Highlight Daya, but he's not making it out of this one. God Embrace only delaying the inevitable enough. Uh-oh, down goes to Phoenix as well, so both supports are not going to be involved in this team fight for SMG. Gotta be cautious though if you group up Moon. He's trying to find an angle. He might be able to get it. Look at the damage from mid 1 before start to get KP out of harm's way.
And they just managed to find the objective they want. They take out the T3 tower. Talon, again, only finding supports. That's all they've been able to kill for quite some time now. Not able to deal with the backline, not able to catch out even Raging Potato at this point. Fairly tanky with Overlord and maybe a nice Granite Golem every now and again. A lot harder to burst. So, I think for SMG, it's all just about being slippery. Just kind of playing the push game, sacrifice your supports, find a support trade, get objectives. Because Talon just aren't able to go onto the objectives. Every tier 2 for SMG is very healthy right now. There's just no pressure coming out from Talon in terms of the push. And at the end of the day, it was a game all about objectives. You can find all the kills you want, and not much else. We'll see what Talon can try to do to come up against that. SMG though, just again playing a very disciplined game, been working the map well. Roche in 40 seconds. That's probably where the next big fight will break out. And still pretty good for SMG.
I was just seeing your praises, my guy. You've caught up in farm, but you're dead once again.
Yeah, you just overstep a bit, and you're in position to kind of punish. A nice skill to have right before Roche. Still 20 seconds away, so you're able to respawn in time.
Oh, they're all TPing. Alright, mid 1 with the bear. Oh, I don't know how we dodged everything.
It's a speedy bear. Just managed to go away. Yeah, it's a healthy, well-fed bear. You know, it's well cared for. It's going to run pretty quick. Cute playing tag.
Flare.
Alright, second Roche is up. SMG had confirmation of this. Got the emotion to get out of this slow, but look short, it's not going to be enough. Look at the crits raining in from 23savage, and now they'll get Pylite die as well. And oh boy, we're back to split pushing, but you just lost Moon, so you lost your opportunity to be able to defend Roche. The bear, not the bear too, plus 300 gold. Oh no, you hate to see it.
Yeah, it's bleeding out now, but mid one's still getting a really good amount of pressure down. Like the racks almost falls. Talon can't go for Roshan because they split up. Even with that advantage killing off the Winter Wyvern, they're gonna have to work their way back in. Without Savage, it doesn't feel like they have enough damage. And of course, you always have the Hawks and the Rocket Flare now to come out. So SMG still has a fight lined up here. They still have Egg. We've seen off Wound's position. He can get a really good angle and maybe even go for a steal.
You might have Arthur as well. The war's up for the first control. Let's see if the bear's gonna be able to have to fall, but it looks like they were able to hold back mid once resub. He's got no bear now for 80. Yep, that's it. That's Roche. Second free roach for the lads on Talon. And you see SMG instantly held between their legs. They are out of the pit. There will be no contestation. Say that. Iron Moon is still coming. They see him. No, Makoto again onto Moon. That's enough burst. Highlight Die was trying to get the Aegis seal as well, but not quick enough for Savage. Gets the kill on the cherry on top, being the components of Sean. Got the shard, and that's the goal. They got Rage Potato down to the river. Laguna Blade, cut away the life. Beyond godlike 23savage.
Yeah, 14-7, kind of replicating what Mikoto did in the last game. Just a massive beast on that Lina. Now they've got to push in a bit. And just the two supports shoving in top right now. Not the quickest damage in the world without the Lina. But they do have to keep the check down bot, preventing that split push game from coming out. And eventually it will fall. They force out the Fortify on the tier 2. But if they do clear out and maybe find room to switch onto the tier 3, no Fortify to defend from SMG. They still have, again, strong teamfight potential here, Ares. High ground hold with Egg, with the curse is pretty darn nice. But they're going to have to, again, work themselves well. Talon's showing us that they're finding these small windows where they're still trying to set up on SMG and they just catch him off guard. Mikoto just works the back line, and if you remove one or two tools from that recipe here, it just doesn't feel good for SMG to re-engage.
I thought Talon got the shot off that Roche, but Pi did actually steal that at least. So it was jetpack. But fixing what I thought Talon got the axe shot. So at least Pilot I got he got something. We'll see how that's gonna come into play for this defense. SMG gonna smoke outside the base. That last T2 tower, anticipating Talon to start making their way down bottom. We'll give SMG an opportunity now to get some wards down for this fight that's probably going to break out around the triangle.
Just holding position, Talon as well. Staying back, we'll go further in smoke. So let's see if they find the angle. An interesting smoke on smoke. SMG smoke's going to fade first if you're not careful.
They should know where mid one is with where the bear's farming. Smoke's going to pop. Oh, they're going to run into Pylite to start though. Back over the tree line. That's only going to buy a little bit of time to get the ultimate off, but the supernova to the right, so it's doing nothing. They are onto 23savage. A cookie to the left. They'll deal with the first life. Can they lock onto it for the second life though? Off the back of the respawn, they're doing such a good job to fight the bear thanks to the yours up in the air, but still Savage is in trouble. Mid one, trying to pump in the damage to Curse, holding it back as well. Savage, no, it doesn't kill. Okay, the rocket flare just getting 23savage, but it looks like the rest of Talon should be able to clean up. Mid one, multiple buybacks coming out as well. Savage wants to rejoin to put them in the grave, but the last time this game, Makoto pursuing up in a couple of seconds. They should get the kill with Moon onto the outskirts, but look at the crits raining down from them. Attack speed. Oh, Moon trying to fly away, but KP out of all heroes gets the triple kill in the trees.
Yeah, it's still topsy-turvy. 42-14. You find a couple of good kills from SMG, killing off 4, taking care of the 2 lives on Savage. The Talon still finds that opening, gets a good work out of the buybacks, and this is their opportunity now for high ground. No egg for a minute. Curse in half a minute. It's going to be nice. But Savage feels pretty well protected. Does have that Lincoln's up. BKB, 30 seconds where he should line up. The Curse being back, and they can just machine gun through the objectives. This is still a lead with a lot of farm. If they find a room, the push is just as quick and balanced.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Attack range was just nice bushwhack. Oh, huge! Downtown gets the stun. At least you got a buyback on Rage Potato, but you're not going to have buildings to play with shortly.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Please pop off the Lincolns though. Find some again to respawn just a bit too long. They're not committing the buybacks in SMG. Gonna be playing 2 racks down. Big advantage for Talon. They are still starting to pop up
in the middle. He's gonna charge it as well. They should be able to get rid of the Brewmaster. And this popped the last second. Moon will not catch him out before they enter the high ground, so might try to make something out of nothing.
They try. They still lose the racks. 2 racks open for Talon. Still a tier 2 to protect the bot. So SMG's not completely out. They still have a lot of play angles to take here. AC is going to be coming up on mid one soon. Mid one's also holding on to the Philipstone. So that kind of tells you the state of the game. Of course, just wanting more gold on himself. I guess you don't really care about the attack damage on the main hero. ED spotted by Savage though. Bottled up with a smoke here. Could be awkward for SMG if they don't find a good angle to fight back.
And look at this ward on the back line as well. It's just way too much information that Talon have. Bye-bye, Raging Potato! They're trying to see who has the most deaths this game between the Beastmaster and the Clockwerk.
Yeah, it's a tough game for Raging. He's 2 deaths away from Pi. It's almost there. Pi's still in the lead for now. But Talon, again, they find one kill. Probably not the big kill they were looking for, though, Ares. They'd really like to kill off maybe Moon, maybe mid one. Both of them pretty high priority targets. And, of course, they can't threaten the racks yet. They have to push out the wave, wait for the creeps to come up, and go on to that tier 2. They could opt to stall out and wait till Roshan as well for Talon. That could be risky, but SMG's team fight. But they've managed to work against it before, so we'll see what the play is for now. Just eyeing that tier 2, having Savage split push top. His farm going almost up to Scott. He has the full Satanic, so he can actually just stand and fight against the bear. And once he has something like the Scotty up, the healing from the Sunray is not going to feel as amazing. You have great heal mitigation coming through from Talon at that point, and great stats on the Lina to just survive through. It feels like it takes too long to burst down Savage. Like they've dropped so much onto that Lina, but just that little moment to live and manages to force staff away.
Visibility.
We're able to get rid of the ward at least. Talon gonna lose that advantage, but mid lane is completely shoved in, so it's obvious whenever SMG are not inside the base, they're gonna make sure they back up to their own power location up top by the outposts, and this cliff ward will force SMG back shortly to deal with the waves. What's the probability to say? 3%. They're not out of it just yet, John. There is a chance.
Yeah, they have to execute that team fight perfectly. Have a lot of presence out from mid one. Sure, the bear just manages to twack away on Savage within distance. And they have angles. It's just difficult to work, although they might find it if KP stays too far forward here.
Radiant have full control of this area with the ward. It's not an easy spot to take a fight. The Wyvern just getting blown up, full to 0. And now with the backline, Pylite died trying to make chaos, but they get the easy kill. They turn to the egg, 23savage with all the attack speed they would need. Buybacks have been forced out, but I don't even know if all the buybacks are going to be enough for SMG to turn this fight.
Nah, it feels like with just even the egg taken out, your kind of teamfight turn just feels taken away. I mean, you can try to play around with healing on Sunray, but Savage is just really damn strong now on the Lina. Is just looking to shove in bot first, does have travel, so again, not going to take too long to re-engage. SMG, need to be cautious. Buying back on the Winter Wyvern in particular is big. Moon gets caught off again by Mikoto. That could spell the beginning of the end of that 3% chance here, Ares.
It's down to 2 now. No good. No good.
Money to burn.
It gets 0, you start to get worried.
No. I think I've seen 0% swing, but it's very, very rare. At this point, that thing is fairly accurate.
In a bit of trouble here, actually. Eontis gets still good out of the moment. They're going to jump the backline meanwhile. Dakota's doing a good job to buy KP enough time to get the split off. But gotta get out if you're SMG. The Bushwhack holding them down for the moment. And KP, no, he's charging forward. We're able to run into one beautiful use of the synergy. Cyclone Talon into the 8th. Remnant Phoenix is gone. No hope of being able to spellcast. And meanwhile, Savage, he doesn't care about heroes. Wants to deal with the bear. Instead, you gotta hope he wants to resummon. It's a beautiful curse, but it's not on the damage deals. SMG, they didn't get the taunt onto the Lina. And meanwhile, mid one is just getting cleaned apart. Cyclone, they're really just toying with one now. Dropped down into his grave. And telling, they're still yet to lose anyone in this last fight. And they're just too strong. Talon on another
Savage.
level.
What happened?
What's going on? Oh, get a little angry, Savage. You love to see it. The tip to the question marks.